So, an HSR video. I know I said I'd take a break or quit, maybe indefinitely, but I think I've come up with a strategy that'll help me enjoy this game. And I want to make a video on how I'm going to be changing my way of playing the game in order to get further enjoyment from it and, to keep me playing. Now, my original plan was to go for Yun Li, right? Because I got like 3 or 4 very good relics that I could use on Yunli, from farming for Firefly break relics. And I was like, oh, maybe I can just get Yunli in her light cone and then run her on another team. But I'm starting to realize that I'm really sick. And what pisses me off about these games is losing to chance, right? Like losing that 50-50 as someone who's a very low spender who usually only buys dailies and occasionally buys the battle pass. It simply sucks. Because why am I playing this game for, around a month to get me a 5 star, and then when I go to get that 5 star, I lose the 50-50, and now I have a character that I just can't use on any of my teams, right? I don't even care about the guarantee. Like it just feels so shitty. So what I plan to do now is save a ton, and I mean a ton of jades. I'm probably gonna skip this next patch, and I'm probably gonna skip the patch after that too. And I'm gonna wait for Acheron's rerun. Now, why am I doing this? Now, Acheron likely will rerun with Pela, which is good because I only have an E1 Pela right now. And I want to get Acheron E2S1. So I'm going to save for 3 or 4 patches, however many patches, until she gets her rerun, so that I can get Acheron, I can get an E6 Pela, and then at E2S1 I'd be able to run her with my Sparkle. And yes, Don Hung wants Sparkle, but I'll get into that more later, right? And then I guess I'd run a sustain on her. I don't know what sustain. There's no point in running with Woho. She'd want Fushuan, right? Yeah, she'd probably want Fushuan. So I will probably wait for a Fushuan rerun if she ever even gets another one soon enough, but we'll see. But out of everything, I'm going to 100% prioritize being able to get an E2S1 Acheron because that's going to clear everything in the game, right? Like, let's be honest. I don't know if you guys have seen, but Zhao Q got 4 or 5 nerfs straight. In each version that came out, he kept getting nerfed and nerfed and nerfed. And it's likely because they realized that they made Acheron too broken, and giving her a broken 5 star Nihility support that allows her to ult every single turn is gonna break the game basically. So they just nerfed Zhao Q to the floor, and now he's just a worse Gwenaifen. Like, it's not good at all, really. It really isn't. So Zhao Q is now like a non-factor. He really isn't needed for Acheron's teams. Oh yeah, they also limited his ability to get stacks. You can only get 6 stacks per ult, right? So you have to use another ult once you hit max 6 stacks, which sometimes just doesn't happen. Like, you just don't have the ult up, and you're just not adding stacks anymore, and you're giving Acheron um, more DOT for her ult. So that's the plan, boys. E2S1 Acheron, and then after that, I think you guys know where I'm going with this. E2S1 Firefly. Now, I personally believe Firefly has the most broken E2 in the game, or first 2 Eidolons in the game. Many people will put it in contention with Don Hong, but I genuinely believe Firefly's is the most broken, and I'll show you why. Her E1, you ignore 15% of target's defense, and you no longer use skill points in that mode. Why this is so huge is because you need to build Firefly on super high speed, like very high speed. And when she's in her ult, she takes like 2, 3, 4 turns in that enhanced state. So you're consuming that many skill points, which sucks because there's times where sometimes you can't put Ruan Mei's support up, and it makes it very difficult. So that is very broken. It makes her very skill point positive because you only need to do one or two basics or one or two skills, and then you get her ult because each skill, by the way, not requires acquires 50 to 60% of her energy bar, and then she's in her ult state for like 4 or 5 turns. Like it's huge, and then her E2, when you defeat an enemy target or break their weakness, she instantly takes another turn. And this effect can trigger again after 1 turn. Now, when I first saw this, I was confused. I thought that this just meant each time she went into her enhanced state, she could only get 1 extra turn after breaking an enemy or defeating them, right? I didn't think you could get more than that. But then I realized, like, wait, you could break an enemy, get an extra turn, and then that turn is gone for the effect can trigger again. And then the next turn she takes, if she defeats or breaks an enemy again, she gets another extra turn. And it becomes so broken. And I realized this only recently, and I was like, wait, this is insane, right? So my plan is save up my jades. I don't care how long it takes. I know I'm not going to be wishing for a long time playing this way. But I honestly think it's better that way. I think I have a problem where every time I see a new unit and it power creeps the previous one or I like them more, I start pre-farming for them or predicting when or I'll be able to get them, and then when I don't get them, I get sad, right? So I'm going to be focusing on the units I have right now. I wasn't able to get Ruan Mei, so I'm just going to be running a Firefly team and a Dawn Hung team. I really, and I mean really, need to fix up my Dawn Hung. I need to get him to max skills because he badly needs them, as well as this imaginary increase in crit rate increase. I also need to do the same for my Sparkle. As you can see, I need to farm some mats so that I can get her crit damage a little higher. As you can see, her crit damage is good, but her speed isn't, right? I've barely farmed relics on this account because I'm a very casual player. I don't like treating these games like a job, but maybe I'll start doing that now. Maybe I'll start grinding my relics every single day for months on end. And within a few months, I'll end up having a good Dawn Hung team that can, for the most part, clear MOC. I also have an E4 Ting Yun, I believe. Yep. So I have an E4 Ting Yun, which is very nice. Depending on whether or not she's on the Yun Li banner, if she is, I may do 10 to 20 pulls so that I can try and get her E6, because that extra 10 energy does make a difference. There are times where I use her ult on Dawn Hung and it's literally like 5 or 10 energy off. So this would make a big difference for me, right? So the plan is to run Firefly, Harmony MC, Gallagher, and I need to build someone else to go with Firefly. A lot of people recommended Asta or Pela, but I'm also running them on Dawn Hung's team. Oh wait, no, I guess I'd run Lynx on this team for the sustain. And I have Gallagher, HMC, and Firefly. So Asta, Pela, or do I run Himiko and do like a double DPS thing? I wonder what would be better. But yeah, that's my plan going forward because Acheron has one of the most broken E2s in the game because it allows her to use a Harmony on the team. And then Firefly also has one of the most broken E2s in the game. So that's my plan. I'm going to go for E2S1 whenever Acheron ends up rerunning. And I'm going to go for E2S1 whenever Firefly ends up rerunning. I pray that if reruns are going in a linear pattern, it should be after Black Swan, Sparkle, and after Sparkle, Aventurine, I think. And then after Aventurine's rerun will be Acheron. So yeah, I'm staying hopeful. And once I get those two teams, I think I can finally get to the point where I'll enjoy this game even if I don't get the characters I want. And then I'll finally pull for characters I want after that. Because for many people in casuals will say, well, that's not fun. You're going for 3 copies of a character? That's insane. That's 3 5-stars you could get. And it's like, I'm different. I get enjoyability from this game from damage numbers and how fast I can clear content And that helps me because then that makes it to where I can focus on the story just fine and I don't have to worry about my characters ever. Like it's just something that I never have to think about, right? And yeah, that's the plan. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think my plan is flawed? Do you think maybe I should try something else? I think this is genuinely the way, the plan for me to get back into this game without like getting frustrated or mad because I mean, it's just guaranteed fun for me, right? I love damage numbers. I love doing the most damage possible. I love clearing content easily. So, I'm going to want super powerful characters that are OP so that I can clear content. Now, whether or not a new DPS ends up coming out in the future that is stronger than both of them, then I'll just pull him, right? Unless I don't have his supports. If I don't have his supports or her supports, I'll just end up, just still going for Acheron and Firefly Eidolons. But yeah, I hope all of you guys enjoyed, and peace.